Marriage is often viewed as a sacred bond, one that thrives on love, respect, and mutual care. This idea was what guided me when I married Lisa 6 years ago. I entered our union with complete dedication, working hard to provide for us, ensuring our bills were always paid, and putting her needs above my own. However, as time passed, I began to notice subtle shifts in our relationship, changes I initially chose to overlook. It began with small, seemingly insignificant signs. Lisa stopped kissing me goodbye in the mornings, a gesture that had once carried warmth and closeness between us. Our date nights, once a treasured tradition, became rare, replaced by monotonous routines. Slowly, I started to feel like we were just sharing a space rather than nurturing a loving connection. I assumed her distant behavior might be due to stress at work or personal struggles she wasn't ready to open up about. In an effort to support her, I gave her the space she seemed to need, hoping that in time she would confide in me. Every time I asked her about how she was feeling, she would wave off my concerns with a quick, "I'm fine," barely lifting her eyes from her phone. But deep down, I knew neither she nor our marriage was truly okay. One evening, after finishing the dishes, I felt an overwhelming need to address the growing divide between us. I walked over to Lisa, who was sitting on the couch absorbed in her phone. "Lisa, we need to talk," I said. She barely acknowledged me, responding with vague, uninterested, "About what?" I took a deep breath, bracing myself for what I knew would be a tough conversation. "It's about us, about how distant you've become. You don't communicate with me like you used to. You don't look at me the same way, and it's been months since we shared any intimacy." Her reaction was immediate, a heavy sigh, as though she had already grown tired of the conversation before it even began. "I don't see why that's such a big deal," she replied flatly. A mix of frustration and sadness surged within me at her indifferent response. "Lisa, we're married. We're supposed to be emotionally and physically connected." I said, "Try to make her understand the importance of our bond." She set her phone down and crossed her arms, defensive. "I don't have to be intimate with you just because we're married," she retorted sharply, her words hitting me like a slap. "That's not what I'm saying." I explained, my voice steady but firm. "Intimacy is part of marriage. It's about love, about closeness, not about entitlement." The conversation quickly spiraled into hostility. She scoffed. "So, you think just because we signed a paper I owe you my body?" Her dismissal of something so essential to our relationship made my jaw tighten. "That's not my belief at all. But marriage is about more than just coexisting under one roof. It's about a connection, and you completely shut me out," I responded, searching for a way to break through her walls. Rolling her eyes, she retorted, "Well, if that's what you expect from me, maybe I'm just not the wife you think I am." In that instant, a heavy realization sank in. I was the only one still invested in our marriage. After years of giving my all, striving to be the best husband I could be, I had poured my heart into this relationship while she gave me little in return. I sat there in silence, feeling a shift deep within me. "All right," I said quietly, standing up. She looked at me, confusion spreading across her face. "What?" she asked, her eyes narrowing in disbelief. I grabbed my jacket from the chair, suddenly clear-headed. "I hear you loud and clear," I responded. "Where are you going?" she demanded, her frown deepening. I met her gaze, really looking at the woman I once loved so deeply, and all I could see now was someone who had long since stopped loving me. "I'm leaving," I said simply. Her eyes widened in shock. "You're overreacting," she insisted. I shook my head, resolute. "No, I've just finally had enough." Her scoff was laced with a trace of realization. She had thought I would always be there, no matter how she treated me. But in that moment, I had come to understand my worth. I was no longer willing to accept less than I deserved. I walked out that night, leaving behind the life we had built together without a second glance. I checked into a hotel, seeking the space I needed to clear my mind and process my thoughts. Part of me thought she might call, perhaps apologize or beg for reconciliation. Instead, a week later, I received a text. "Are you really leaving over this? Grow up." That message confirmed everything I needed to know. The next day, I filed for divorce. At first, Lisa didn't take me seriously. She thought I would eventually come back, as I had done before. But when the divorce papers arrived, reality set in. She called me crying, begging for a second chance, promising she would change. But by that point, it was too late. Love is proven through actions, and her actions had already shown me where I stood in her life. Looking back, I realized that walking away was the best decision I could have made. A true marriage isn't based on obligation or complacency. It's about mutual effort, love, and respect. I had finally learned my own worth and the value of being in a relationship where both partners are equally invested. From that moment forward, I vowed never to settle for anything less.